So this is Lawrence Romanowski again from the Distinctive Collection in Calgary, Canada, and we have a very gray day here for our Coffee and Cars. This is the start of a exotic run up to Banff that's organized by a guy named Jordan Latosky, and who's doing a charity event for the Children's Kids Help Phone. And so these guys are all doing a tour here. It's leaving in a little while, and they're going to go to Banff and come back, and it's a good event. So, but anyway, we've got a parking lot full of neat cars here. And so here's Jordan's Superleggera, a Lamborghini Gallardo. They only made, I think, less than 200 of these, 170 of them or something like that. So it's a lightened, stiffened, more raw version of the regular Gallardo, which is already a rare car. This is kind of a neat car. It's a BMW M Coupe, and so this would be the M3 330 horsepower, the last version of the straight six M3 engine in the M3 Roadster body, but then a hardtop. So it's like about twice as stiff as the regular car, and this is a serious driver's tool. Ferrari's just made a version of it called the I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it looks like the same car. I'm sure they won't appreciate it. Maybe there'll be a body kit for this car to look like the new four-wheel drive Ferrari. Still one of my favorite all-time cars, the 930 Turbo. I'm still regretting selling my roof to a guy in Holland. So this car, it's a 5-speed, and they only made this in a 5-speed for 1 year, and that's 1989. So this has got to be a 1989 car. And the roofs were all 5 speeds before that. This is the first factory one. I think it's the G50 transmission. Anyway, just a seminal, all-time classic. One of the coolest cars ever made. I love Porsche turbos. Not that easy to drive. And a trio of NSXs, which you don't see too often. So this car came out in 1990, and it was the world's first all-aluminum car. And it made everything else look really stupid. Like, when this was being compared with a Ferrari 348s and the Lotus and whatever. I mean, the NSX might as well have been from a different planet. So all aluminum, exquisite forged suspension, and the first instance of the VTEC engine, which had 2 cam lobes, which were hydraulically controlled. Little pin went in, and so you had a docile engine up to about 6,000 RPM. And then it changed cam lobes, and you got this high RPM screamer. So these cars are wonderful classics too, because you just service them once a year and do the timing belts every 100,000 K, and it's still a Honda. Easy to drive. You're not sitting staggered in the cockpit with your wheels or your legs at a 45-degree angle to the car like you are in some of the Ferraris. And basically your grandmother could drive this car. But it's still a 170-mile-an-hour supercar. So a few different versions. These all look like early cars. And different, it's hard to find them stock. Most of them have been modded. A lot of them have superchargers. A lot of them have different wheels and tires. S65 just rolled in. It's too big to back in, I guess. So that's the twin turbo 600 horsepower, 620 horsepower Benz engine, twin turbo V12. And a car like this, it can't hope to put the power down. It just the traction control light on these cars is like a strobe light. Anytime you put your foot on the throttle, you just spin the tires. And I think it even limits the torque in the first 3 gears just to save the transmission. So this thing doesn't even hook up to about 100 miles an hour. Neat car though. Okay, so then we got Viper. Looks like one of the first Vipers with side curtains and the removable hardtop, and an Aston Martin that we did up. Big carbon fiber wing, and it's got the lipstick that the Aston puts in their race cars. And then this guy just rolled up in a fairly modified Porsche Cayman. Roll bar, and looks like he's done a whole lot to this car. Advan wheels, belts and so on. Looks like a nice car. I bet it's a great track car. Well balanced. And then we've got another NSX. The SL55 Mercedes. This was a big deal when it came out in '03 with 500 horsepower. And cars before that didn't have 500 horsepower. And I remember one stat that I remember reading was it was 30 seconds faster to 300 kilometers an hour than a Ferrari 550 at the time, 575 at the time. And the reason was that aerodynamically it strikes a great balance between no lift and a little bit of downforce and no drag. So usually when you put big wings on cars like that one, it'll cause a lot of drag and limit your top speed. But to get a car stable, you need to have some downforce. So the art of the aerodynamics is usually to have a shape which will go through the air well and not generate lift at either axle, and yet still be stable. And so that's the real brilliance of this car, I think, is that it doesn't need a lot of wings to be stable at high speed, and over about 250 kilometers an hour, and most of them are limited to 250, but if you take the limiter off, the car is extraordinarily fast. Okay, so we have a nicely, nice matte black CLK 63. So Ferrari 360, this one's got the Challenge wheels, and it looks like it's done up really nice. Nice car. Early, but 911, which one's this? Is this a Carrera or an SC?
911
Carrera, so 88, okay, so second last year of this car.
Yep, you bet.
5-speed transmission, 214 horsepower.
Done. You know your stuff.
Yeah, okay. I like them. There's M3, and it's another Vantage that we tuned up with various aftermarket carbon fiber parts, carbon fiber hood, etc. One of the latest Lotus Esprits. So this car started off with a 2-liter Giugiaro styled with a 2-liter engine. 160 horsepower, 140 over here, and then it got a turbocharged 2.2-liter engine, and then what they call a charge-cooled engine, which was a water-to-air intercooler, and then it got a V8 engine. It was actually, you're supposed to get a V8 engine right from the very beginning, but this car was a serious piece when it came out with 350 horsepower, 375 maybe, twin-turbo V8. Neat car underneath too. It's like a tube frame racer. You know, beautiful machine. This is the Peter Stevens redesign, which he did in 1989, I think. And he was a Grand Prix. He did design Grand Prix cars as well. Neat car. And what else we got here? Our usual Astons that we have on display. Some hot Audi and modified SLs. That is 997 turbo fast car, and some various AMG Mercedes and Vipers and so on. This is a Lotus 1990 SE, so that's the 2.2-liter 264 horsepower engine. So it's kind of interesting to see them side by side, both in the same colors. But a great turnout considering, you know, the weather's so miserable. So these guys should be careful too, because it's cold and a lot of them have like R compound tires on these cars. So anyway, they're going to disappear for a few hours and have fun going to Banff. So anyway, Lawrence Romanowski, the Distinctive Collection in Calgary, Canada. Thanks for viewing. And if you're in the area, come by on Saturday mornings, because we usually have a parking lot filled with interesting cars. Thank you very much. And we should have a closer look at this car here. So this is a CLK 63 Black Edition, which is a very special car. I'm not even sure any of the body panels are transferable to the regular CLK. Perhaps just the hood and the doors. And so it's stripped out, wider track, bigger brakes. Look at the fender extensions on this thing. And this is in the satin black color. So this is like a hardcore, stripped out machine from what I read. The diffuser on this thing. And I've never actually seen one. This one comes from Montana, and I guess he must be rolling through town. And oh, what a neat car! Yeah, I mean, if nobody had accused this of being a girl's car, that's for sure. Anyway, we'll maybe get a video of it heading out. See you, Jordan. Thanks.